Welcome to Not So Small Talk.
Big conversations.
Deep connections.
All right. This is Reverend Deborah Bennett, and I am sitting here with...
Ed Cosper.
And Bruce King.
Yeah, we are. Well, you know, Ed and Bruce and I were sitting around talking, and we were having a really intriguing conversation one day, and we thought, you know, conversations are good, right? Like all over the place. There's all this kind of small talk. Hey, Ed, how's the weather?
Yeah.
Yeah, I become impatient with small talk.
Yeah.
I want to get to it.
You want to get to it, right?
Yes.
Right? So we thought we have all these great themes every month, and I know we have our conversations after service, our service reflections, and wow, sometimes we have amazing conversations in there about the theme. This last week we started about our theme and we ended up someplace totally different. It was really awesome. So we thought it might be fun to host a podcast. This is gonna come out monthly-ish. I don't know. What do you think, guys?
At least once a month for now.
Oh, okay. He sounds so formal. Okay, so we're going to try this a monthly thing, and we're calling it Not So Small Talk. And we're going to just take one of our themes for the month, our theme for the month, and tackle it, come up with some, something that's related in some way, and have a conversation. And we are going to be inviting some guests, right? I think we should have guests once in a while. What do you think?
I like guests.
Like I like guests. So if you want to be a guest on one of our episodes, please let us know. We'll be sure to include you. So what do you think we should talk about this week, guys? Our theme for this month is embracing possibility.
Oh.
Yeah. You know what that makes me think about are, some of the turning points that have happened in my life.
Oh. Turning Point. That was a good movie.
I didn't see that movie. There was actually a movie called Turning Point.
Yes, about women coming to terms with a turning point in their lives where one chose career, one chose
This isn't the
family.
one where they take the car. What was that? No, it was Thelma and Louise.
No.
This is not Thelma and Louise. 'Cause
nothing
that was
like
a turning point too for Thelma and Louise.
It certainly was.
Yeah. But what happens in Turning Point?
Well, one woman chooses career, one woman chooses family, and they come together later in life.
Do they not know they can have both?
Well, this was 1977.
Okay. So we've had some turning points since then, ladies.
I've had you.
Absolutely.
Well, I think that's a great theme. Let's talk about turning points. I mean, wow, we've all had them, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Turning points in our lives, like we were going down one direction, then all of a sudden it was like, I don't know, a stop sign came.
Or a turnstile. Sometimes I feel like I got caught in the turnstile. One continuous turning point.
Can you think of a time that was really,
Oh, absolutely. It makes me
goodness.
think, of course, of my youth.
I wish everybody could see his eyes now. Okay, he's got a story for us. What was it? What was
Come on,
it? Come on.
Well,
yeah.
it was that time in my life everyone can relate to where you're discovering who you are. And I wasn't real happy with who I was finding, coming to terms with my own sexuality. And, of course, along with that, just growing in and out of my family. So,
Oh, yeah, families. Yeah. They give us lots of turning point opportunities, don't they?
yeah, so I was very heavy
Love
at
you,
that
Mom.
moment. 17, And I was also very
You're very heavy?
It was a heavy moment.
Oh, heavy moment.
Heavy moment.
Yeah.
I was 17. I was a naive 17.
Yeah.
And I had made the choice to go up to a college to have a relationship, my first of choice. And of course, like all new things.
I don't think this is that kind of podcast.
Well, no, we're not
okay,
going
well, okay, let's turn. Okay, go ahead.
But
So Bruce is out of college.
yeah, I'm at a college, and I'm at that point where I'm trying to accept who I am. I also, at this point, as some of you know, I play the piano. I had been playing the piano for about 10 years by now. But it really wasn't what it is to me today, playing the piano.
And that turning point made a difference in...
Absolutely. Prior to this event where I got very emotional, there was a lot of things weighing on me at the time, not just one thing, but I just found myself wandering the campus at like 3 a.m, and I wandered myself to a practice room in their music department because I know where all the pianos are.
Were you in the music department?
No, I wasn't even going to college.
Oh, I
was
see.
still in high school.
Okay,
I did not break and enter.
okay.
They
I was
are
gonna
open
say.
for the students.
And you
And
counted
that's it
yourself
for
as a
this
student.
episode of Not So Small Talk. Okay, so you're on the campus, which you do not go to school there.
Right.
It's 3 a.m.
Yep.
You're
So-
wandering around.
Yeah, and I'm in that state, an emotional state of transition. I did not realize it at the time. I'm only 17. But up to this point, the piano pretty much was just the thing I did. I did not attach a lot of meaning to it. It's hard for me to express what I'm saying, but I just did it. I started so young that it was just what I did. And because of the state I was in, I was quite frazzled. I felt very low. I was thinking some very negative thoughts. And I sat at the piano. And I just had this amazing experience at the piano where I now call it auto playing. I don't know if there's a word for it, but
You're like in the zone.
I can kind of get in a trance. But I'd never done that until that night.
Oh, interesting. Interesting.
I didn't know what to play, but then it felt as though something was coming through me. And up till now, I had slowly been losing faith. I was raised in a very Christian home, and it was no longer really, it was starting to not work for me because of who I was seeing myself becoming. And so I didn't really think there was a whole lot of magic around anymore. I really was into the miracles and that, as a kid. Who doesn't like a good parting of the Red Sea?
Oh,
or
yeah.
a
That
burning
movie was like
bush?
so great.
Yeah, but I'd kind of even started losing faith in MGM by this point. So when this happened to me, it was like my whole body got warm. I felt like my arms were, and this still happens to me, I can do it now automatically. My arms feel far away from me, and I'm kind of listening to what's happening.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
That's very cool. What do you think in your situation, like right before that moment happened, was something else happening? Was like what brought you to there? I mean, you said like
Oh, I was questioning my own existence. I was, I was looking for ways out,
yeah. Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
and some dark ways out.
Yeah. Wow.
And so I really thought that, 17, I was very dramatic. I really thought it was my swan song, this is it.
Yeah.
But when this happened in that practice room, I just felt like all of a sudden I was a part of the world.
Wow.
Prior to that, I think I felt kind of balled up and isolated and kind of hard.
Wow.
But this made me think, well, I'm a Capricorn. I'm always thinking about the future. I thought, oh my God, I'm really good at this. I think I could, this could be my life. Whereas I did not see, I didn't see a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah. We talked about that.
And we were talking about the light at the end of the tunnel. He says, "Oh, were you looking for the light at the end of the tunnel?" I said, "I didn't even think there was a light at the end of the tunnel."
Or a
at this
tunnel.
point. Or a tunnel. Well, no, I knew there was a tunnel.
Oh, okay.
It was just going down.
But there was a train coming
Yes.
in the other direction. Yeah.
And so this experience made me just see the world a lot bigger. I felt like there were a lot more possibilities. And I felt connected to some form of magic. I wasn't, I don't know if I was willing to call it a God experience, but it definitely was whole body. And
It was something different than you had ever experienced before.
well, and I'd never felt as relaxed as I did when I finished. The feeling when I was done, now of course it was 3-4 o'clock in the morning.
It was actually exhaustion.
I
and
might
you
have been
went to bed.
exhausted. But I just think it was that moment of lightness came over me that I hadn't felt.
Wow. Wow, that's pretty.
You found that there was a place in this world for you?
Well, yeah, I felt like I was of the world. Up to this point, I kind of felt like, do you remember the TV show The Munsters?
Of course.
Okay. Remember Marilyn?
Yeah.
Yes.
Marilyn?
Yeah.
I always felt like Marilyn. Like, I felt like I was that weird, Marilyn was weird in the Munsters family because she was
Right.
so normal. But
Right.
I just did not feel like I was feeling detached from my family. I had yet to find my tribe of friends that would help me through things. So the piano was just this thing I did. I don't want to say this, sounds kind of, I had great opportunities playing at church as a young kid, but I was a little bit like, push him up on the stage, watch him do this crazy thing. Look how good he is. He's only 9 years old.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And so, and I responded to that. I, as a kid, who doesn't like to make people happy and laugh and stuff.
Tell them you're good.
But I did not really see it as a deep connection to the world, or that it was a part of a bigger thing.
I find your story so interesting, and how it relates to others. I mean, to me, and many of us have had those times of turning and those moments of, wow, who am I, and getting some validation of who we are. Yeah.
Well, and I don't want to make it sound too easy either.
Right, because it's not like the switch goes on and all of a sudden, whoa,
Yeah.
the light is there, and now
No,
everything
not
was
at
okay
all.
after that point, right?
Yeah, there were many other turning points, but I tell you, sometimes that first step is the most important one.
Well, and I think we know when we have those ones because they stay in our memories more. We have a hard time talking about them without feeling them.
Oh yeah.
Right? The feeling comes with it, and we just know that that was just something a little bit different.
Absolutely.
You know, and I think they can be subtle too. I mean, I remember once just this moment after I'd been very seriously practicing yoga for a period of time, and it was a very simple moment, but looking in the mirror and just knowing I was different. It was like this really and not just that I was different, but that it wasn't going back.
Yes.
Right? And I'm getting teary just saying it. It was one of those moments. It was like, this is a moment. And it's just, I mean, that was 25 years ago, but it's so seared in my memory. 30 years ago. Oh my gosh, 30? Yeah.
Yeah.
31. 32. a long time ago. But it's seared in my memory because it's like that, yeah, something shifted. What about you, Ed? Like, do you have anything come to mind?
I got to tell you, it's so many turning points in my life that, but I would tell you the biggest turning point was honestly when I had children.
Yeah.
Because I realized that it just wasn't all about me, but it was what was going to carry on after me. And it was, I still, just thinking about my children and now my grandchildren, but those also create turning points, and watching them hit their turning points.
Right. Yeah. Gosh, who you are the moment before you have a child and after. You can't
Yeah.
describe that to somebody, but it's
Yeah.
just like it's a different thing.
Well, I think with turning points, so often time, and I mean time like the big Chronos time. It makes you aware of time.
Yeah.
And again, like my situation back at the piano, I didn't really see time as expansive. And I think you before children, like you said, you're in your own little world, and then
Right.
all of a sudden you have this baby, and you see time will go on,
Right.
carry on.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a little suspension of time too with these turning points, right?
Yeah.
Like I just feel like there's that moment of everything gets into suspended animation for a moment. It's like,
It does.
okay.
Almost like you're just dangling there, hanging and saying, where's this going to take me?
Yeah. Or those times where I felt that and it's like the answer wasn't clear. I think that's a different kind of turning point. Like some of my turning points were just like those aha moments.
Right.
Right? And some of them were like, oh, I am sitting at a crossroads.
Yeah.
Do I go down that way
Yeah.
or that way? And usually one of those ways feels more well-worn, right?
Yeah.
Like there's the pattern. I know that one's really easy.
Yeah. I know how it turns out. I'll
I
go
know how
down
it
that
turns out,
road.
but it's so tempting, right? Like even like when we react, like if we have
Right.
an argument, not that I ever argue with my husband, but if I were to ever argue with my husband, like there's always that moment where I can see like, oh, that road right there.
Right. Yeah.
Well,
That's the one I normally go down, and I know how that's going to end up, but oh, it's so tempting. It's like that cookie in the cookie jar.
well, and I think that if I have to search for a blessing, I always try and look for the positive. And like with queerness, I just thought it was a curse. I was always trying to
Really?
pray it away, and I didn't want to
Wow.
accept it. But what you just said about going down a road less traveled, queerness often forces you down roads that you don't
Yeah.
know. And so when I look back on it, I'm like, wow, I don't think I would have done it any other way.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I can see other people that are in well-worn paths,
Yeah.
and it's more exciting and slightly terrifying at times not to know
Yeah.
what's coming.
Yeah, sometimes they're called like choiceless choices too, right?
Yeah.
It's like it feels like there's a choice, but you know what your soul's calling you to do,
Yeah.
right? So it's like, oh, boy, if I could swear right now, I'd insert a swear like, darn, Can I say darn?
You can
Like,
say
You
darn.
can say darn.
Like, darn.
Yeah, I always thought it would be nice if we had like a little angel or someone on our shoulder that would say, "Hey Ed, today's going to be the last day that you ever have a piece of cherry pie." You don't know when. I don't know if you like cherry pies, but sometimes
Why would we want that?
Well, I'm just
Wait,
saying.
this is like, why would I want that?
Because I'm diabetic and I shouldn't have it.
Oh, I see.
No.
So if you knew it was your last day, right?
Yeah, I would have
Well,
the cherry
just to
pie.
be aware of these moments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you don't know that moment's happening until years later.
Yeah.
Right. That's true.
You know, because
That's true.
sometimes you're very aware of the turning point. And
Yeah.
as I told that story earlier, it sounded very cognizant, and I knew, but I was 17. I
right.
would not have told that story the same way.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
interesting
I would have looked
too.
back at it probably even 10 years from that moment as a very confused, weird space.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now I see it as a crossroads, a turning point, and
Yeah.
pivotal.
And sometimes you don't realize it's a turning point until you do look back and see it. At the moment, you may not actually realize.
I
you
think
know?
that's so true. Yeah. And
Yeah.
then you look back and go, oh wow, that road was pretty curvy.
Yeah, now, and I also want to add that not all turning points turn towards
The light.
the light. Right. I can think back on turning points where I'm like, oh, that's where it went wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Oh,
where I made that
absolutely.
decision.
Yeah, all
And
of us
that's
feel
where
that.
the.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Wow. I can't even believe we've been chatting away for 16 minutes and 5 seconds so far.
Oh, well. Just open the door.
I
and
know. I know. But yeah, it's been wonderful to have this conversation. And I just really want to invite all of you that have been listening to do your own little like reflection, maybe even make a little chart. I know in many activities I've done here at Emerson, we offer this too in different classes, is to make a timeline.
Yeah.
And to especially put on those timelines, these turning points. I've heard them referred to also as keystone moments. You know, the keystone
Yeah.
is that stone in the wall that,
Right.
you know, like if you take it out, it all falls down kind
Right.
of thing. You know, so what are the keystone moments of your life, those moments? And again, like you said, Ed, I don't think you always know it necessarily when it's happening.
Right.
You know, it might be those little things, but what are those turning points or those moments that open up new possibilities for you in your
Yeah.
life, you know?
And it's always good to share because to hear it reflected back from someone else's perspective is always a new shine on it.
Yeah.
You're
Right.
just-
Absolutely. Very cool. Well, my friends, this is it for Not So Small Talk. I hope you enjoyed our conversation and being part of our conversation. We'd love to hear from you, so please feel free to go down in the comments and make any comments you like or make any nice comments you like. And yeah, any last words there, Ed?
I love the big conversations.
And I do believe we had some deep connections.
All right. Sounds good. All right, blessings on. Until next time.